The problem for me is, if they then do a little bit more research, the first thing that they will come across, which we all shout about, is that we have got a reproducibility crisis in biology. And it's not just small either. When you start looking at it, it's a disaster. So how do you equate trust us with actually the technology? It fails nearly all the time in our hands. And we all get different results. And I'll do it one day, and Tim will do it the next. And the only similar thing about it is that we're both called Tim. We have to address that element. It's not the only element of building trust, but it's an absolutely critical element of it. And how do we go about that? And I'm sorry to say, as far as I'm concerned, biology is not an engineering discipline. I may have a few supporters on the panel. Yet. It's not. I did graduate from semiconductors into biology. I was asked in the late 80s, early 90s to join somebody called Professor Southern, of Southern blot fame, to help him miniaturize a new technique he just had called DNA microarrays. I had no idea who Ed was, but I went along, and people said he's terribly famous. Wonderful technique. And when I got to his lab and I said, Ed, what's that? He said, well, it's the Southern blot. I said, Ed, it's a load of lube paper with a brick on top of it. He went, yeah, welcome to the Southern blot. But he showed me some data, and I said, what are those? He said, they're error bars. I said, it's nearly an order of magnitude. He said, yeah, welcome to biology. And ever since then, we've slowly been seeing those error bars condense, and we just need to push much, much further. Other industries have done this before. I mean, how do we have an automotive, an electronics, an aviation industry? We have software abstraction that helps us think around the really complex low-level details. So we have computer-aided design, computer-aided manufacture. In the semiconductor industry, we have electronic design automation. We would never start on the path of Moore's law without EDA. There's many step change innovations along that way, but unless, when people had 100 transistors on a chip, they drew them out by hand. That's fine. Nobody's drawing out the 20 billion transistors in your phones today. So there's a stack of technologies, including the software, including the hardware. And we have to embrace those examples from other industries so that we can bring this abstraction and actually turn biology into computer, well, I call computer-aided biology. We can turn it into an engineering discipline.